Many millennia before the rise of managed democracy in Super Earth lived Hercules, who did some rather bad stuff and was then given 12 labors to atone for his sins. Now, it seems the past is now repeating itself, as we Helldivers are seeing our own version of this play out in real time. Our first task involved downing an untold amount of Leviathans. We succeeded. Today, with our new mission from Super Earth, we are met with impossible challenge number 2. What and why is as important as how much this is costing the citizens of Super Earth, a forgotten factor in every Helldivers operation. Here's a full breakdown on all the logistics involved with this insane major order, as the Helldivers are once again headed into automaton territory. First up, to all those brave enough to boot up the game and take part in Operation 𝗏𝗄𝐿𝐴, we salute you. Hoorah! As we were indeed successful. Many spore burst bugs were slain, much spore cloud muck was released into the air, and untold amounts of heavy enemies were met head-on and liquefied. Now with our victory, expect another dose of spore action very soon, as the Center of Science has successfully designed a process by which to mass-produce gloom-resistance polymer coatings for our spacecraft. Right now, junior and intern scientists eager to enlist are being sent directly into the gloom clouds to explore the unknown depths of the terminid spore cloud. Still no word on the Helldivers receiving updated and reinforced filtration systems for their super helmets, but that should be coming soon. But as they say, another day, another battle. And this time, we're headed back into automaton territory, more precisely the Nanos sector, with a 7-day major order tasked with liberating 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, Yuleheim, and Beckvin 3, along with Dolph, which we currently have. As citizens from Super Earth have now begun populating 3 maximum security cities, or MSCs, located on Fort Union, Emeria, and Fort Sanctuary. The neighboring and undemocratic presence of the bots in close proximity to New Aspiration City, located on Emeria, can't be ignored. This is a major order with a wrinkle, though. Not only are the Helldivers tasked with liberating and holding key strategic planets, but we're also being assigned what can only be described as a Super Earth flex, as High Command has given us the task of eliminating 2.5 million troopers, wait for it, using the orbital Railcannon Strike. What? You heard me correctly the first time. Take out troopers with rail cannons and do so 2.5 million times during the course of this major order. According to the excellent statisticians over at the Helldivers Companion app, at our current pace of applying the insanely overpowered Railcannon Strikes to the tops of troopers' heads, this part of the major order will take us approximately 1 month and 3 days. Maybe now you can understand why in the intro I mentioned Hercules and his impossible labors. In fact, this stratagem versus that enemy type was so odd that many in the Helldivers Discord were asking if this was a typo. Surely you meant something like the orbital barrage, right? No, it's not a typo. Kind of excessive for a lowly bot trooper, right? As we can literally dispatch one of these things with any of our primary or secondary weapons or just melee them down in a few shots. But this is about sending a message of strength to the automatons. But at what price? A little over a year ago, Destructoid tried to tackle that formula with this article. Helldivers 2 dev reveals the shocking truth about how much you cost Super Earth in every mission. Super Earth is trapped by its own need for endless expansion. Fueled by this post on Twitter, Destructoid went about laying the groundwork for how to compute the absolutely enormous cost of the Second Galactic War. Starting with the idea that a stratagem being called in cost more than the average annual income for a super citizen, they decided to use $50,000, or super credits, as the starting point, which, based on how much items in the superstore cost, they decided that was a fair estimate. And before we get into the absolutely insane cost factors involved here with this trooper Railcannon shock and awe campaign, just think about this. A squad of 4 Helldivers all hit planetside together. And within the first 2 minutes, maybe even sooner, if you've hot dropped like a boss onto the automaton superbase, you've now all called in all 4 of your stratagems. Let's say it's a ammo backpack, a quasar cannon, and you've let out your Eagle strafing run and your 500 kg is put in work, and they're all now loose on the bot base. So did your other 3 squad mates. How much did that 1 to 2 minutes of combat cost the citizens of Super Earth? Well, 4 divers times 4 stratagems equals 16. 16 times $50,000 or super credits per stratagem, that equals 800,000. That's right, 800 grand. Make no mention of the super destroyer upkeep, the cost of resupplies, the DSS, which we know from previous broadcasts cost us upwards of 1 billion super credits per day to keep it operational, and so on. The final costs here are going to be staggering, and the message for Helldivers should be clear. War is our economy. Destructoid went on to note that at this point in time, 2184, Super Earth's colonies are vast and the human race is spread far into the galaxy. War is the economy that's never been clearer. If the Second Galactic War ended tomorrow, every business on every Super Earth colony would collapse because they're all providing some sort of facility or product for Helldivers. That's interesting food for thought, right? For without the war, in theory, Super Earth has reached a point of singular existence, to conquer. And without that, well, you know the rest. Earlier on, I mentioned the Super Earth Flex, using Railcannon Strikes to take out lowly automaton troopers, and just wait until you see the totals for this one. 2.5 million troopers times $50,000, or super credits, per Railcannon Strike, which honestly seems kind of a low estimate for how much it would cost to send down what amounts to a telephone pole fired from high orbit down to the planet's surface at incredible velocity, but anyways, let's roll with it. 2.5 million times 50,000 per strike equals $125 billion, or should I say super credits, to pull off this maneuver, assuming a 1-to-1 kill ratio. And of course, with war, there will always be collateral damage, so there may be several troopers caught in a single shot due to the AoE. Is this thing devastating? For sure. Is it completely overkill? Especially when you consider how few rounds from a primary weapon it takes to dispatch one of these enemy types. But High Command is ready to send a message. And what better way than sending down enough firepower to crack a planet in two? I know it's quite an old post, but given the present discussion, it's extremely relevant. But this super citizen posted about how the in-game lobby stats should show taxpayer dollars spent, mentioning that they felt it would be a fun stat to implement, that during the in-game screen, along with your kills, shots fired, friendly fire damage, always important if you run with the squad that I do, and of course all the other items it displays, it would be cool to see how much in Super Earth taxpayer super dollars we spent for each player during the mission, for things like stratagems, resources, and supplies. Which I think would be an excellent question for chat. Would you be interested in learning how much all that strat slinging cost? Drop a comment and let's see where the community lands on this one. Also, since we're referencing articles that are about a year old, there's another piece of Helldivers lore that turned 1 today. The Escalation of Freedom update dropped exactly 1 year ago today. Now, if you were there, you know what happened next, as Arrowhead spent the next 63 days planning and pulling that one back in, saving the Galactic War from falling into total obscurity. Yeah. In the meantime, we've got a ton of unsuspecting bot troopers to atomize. In case you're wanting to know more about the 10 stratagem weapons Helldivers tend to use the least, I'll include a link to this full breakdown in the video description and pinned comments. You should definitely go check it out because the bottom 2 are practically forgotten. Also, the 180 version of that video where I take a look at the top 10 strat weapons is coming very soon. So make sure to hit subscribe and ring the notifications bell so you don't miss that upload alert. I'd like to say thank you to all of our channel members, for without your support, content like this would not be possible. And until the next one, this is a very sick Lieutenant 𝗏𝐵uzLitebeer signing off.